I'm going to talk about how you introduced me to Kaal Bhairav. A year before I met you, I'd gone to the Kaal Bhairav temple in Banaras where things had shifted for me. And when I met you, you actually introduced me to something called Batuk Bhairav.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say the mantra?
Absolutely. No. But speak of Batuk Bhairav.
Okay. I have said the mantra on a previous episode.
Oh, it's okay. No problem.
Okay. There is a word in that mantra which goes Reem. What does that even mean? What is Batuk Bhairav? What are the Bhairavs? Because what I have seen shift in my life after I've started this mantra is a deep affinity towards Shiva. I've had dreams related to it. I've had very intense experiences in my meditation related to Shiva. And everything in my material life is moving too fast. Be it new people coming in, material opportunities, growth, everything you can think of from a material perspective has just become extremely speedy. And at the same time, I'm partially overwhelmed and I partially feel very capable and brave to be able to deal with the speed. This wasn't there earlier in my life. My whole 20s, I dealt with so much self-doubt that self-doubt has just gotten erased to the degree where you can't even see, the marks of it. That's the personal level input. What have you made me do, sir?
No, I did nothing. Whatever thoughts came, I told you. You did the sadhana and you saw the results. Why is dharma called Sanatan? Sanatan means eternal. That is because what was done thousands of years ago, the practices, if you do it today, still you will get results. And if 10,000 years later people do it, still they'll get results. It is not a individual's property. I didn't invent anything. I'm just an ordinary person going about my lives, ended up in your show. That's about it. It's the deities who do things. Be very clear. That also keeps your ego under check. The moment you start believing that I can do anything, somebody upstairs will start laughing. Okay. They'll just pull the rug from under your feet and all mera jitna vidya hai and all that whatever you know, you'll start falling.
So even such an emotional and mental thing like self-doubt, which is so deep-rooted, can be erased by the deities.
Yeah. So let's talk about Bhairav Baba. He's one of my favorite gods. Okay, he's one of my favorite deities because the first time I ever chanted a mantra was of him when I did not even know who he is. One of my first gurus gave me the mantra. And I had not the faintest idea ki, who is Bhairav? What is Bhairav?
Are you talking about Kaal Bhairav?
No. One form of Bhairav. Okay. He had given me the mantra and he said that jap karte raho. Okay. It was like an upadesham. At that time, I was more of the atheist kinds. Had no interest, no idea, nothing of that sort. I kept doing. I remember for months I kept doing. Nothing happened. Then one day I called him nothing is happening. He's very elevated. He's obviously much more here than so he said that do one thing, do it in a more concentrated manner as a sankalpa. Sankalpa means you take some water or some rice grains, etc. and then you make a promise to the deity that so many days I'll do this mantra XYZ. And I took a very simple sankalpa, nothing else. Just say that so many days I'll do that with certain rules. Rules means same time I'll say it. Certain food habits changes I made at that time and all that. And I remember that time as a bachelor. So as it happens with bachelors, weekends means that you go out to drink with friends. That's all there is in life. Nothing else is there. So 7 days, 5 days a week you work and Saturday, Sunday is like the end of the world. Okay. So now I'm being very frank how I remember. So at 10 o'clock at night I used to sit with that mantra and it used to take me 1.5 hours, 11:30. So even I remember one of my friends asked me ki we are going out, would you come with me? I said, no, you guys go, I'll come. I'll catch up with you. Okay. So I finished that. I didn't have any expectations with it. I just thought that let me try it. But by the 40th day, and I've spoken of this before also. So 40th day, I remember I was in Bangalore, I was having a cup of coffee. And then I see 9 cars, one after the other, coming with the name Bhairava. And I was very stunned because I've never seen this before. And first 1-2, I thought it's coincidence. When so many of them came, then this is like, you can't ignore it, that type of thing. But my mind was still skeptical. After that, I had a vision of a presence in my room. Bhairava. So, anyway, that's how my journey with Bhairava started, etc. Bhairava, the word actually means, there are two different interpretations of it. One is that it means terrifying. Okay. The other is that, but terrifying to whom? Why are you terrified of Bhairava? Because he is like that force which is absolutely naked. There are no conditionings. He has not put up any makeup. He has not done any. Digambara, the word that is used, who's sky clad, which means they're naked, is basically somebody who's unconditioned truth. If anything that I've realized in my sadhana of Bhairav Baba is that he loves truth. And he prepares, and the truth is the only thing that we are scared of. Everybody in the world is scared of truth because somehow or the other, the mind tries to modify it according to your circumstances. Ki, this is what I like, and that. And I'm talking not just about your political affiliations or which football team you like. No, even in personal life, that's for everybody. We lie to ourselves before we lie to the world.
I had a bad breakup after I began Bhairava Upasana. Out of the blue.
Bhairav Baba, he takes you face to face with certain truths which your mind may or may not be able to, or which perhaps your mind is pushing to the background. Okay. His Vidya, the thing with his Vidya is, so a lot of people say that Bhairava is somebody who protects. Yes, he protects, but he makes you fearless.
Yes.
How do you become fearless? By facing your fears. Nobody in the world can become fearless by running away from fears. He is the one who will say ki it's like that military training. Ki jo cheez tumhe dar lag raha hai, I'll put you right there.
Yeah. Felt this. Worst case scenarios happened. And then there wasn't.
After that, after a point, duniya jaye bahar mein, you don't care.
Yeah, you become very emotionally blunted.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm a little too emotionally blunted now. Like, where I've almost become, I don't even know what to call it, but I feel a lot of ferociousness in myself now. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm just flowing with it as a will of.
So that creates, these are changes, certain changes that Bhairava can create in an individual. There is a very beautiful writing I was reading a couple of months ago. So some of the great masters, and when we talk of Bhairava, it is important to mention that the maximum amount of Upasana, Paddhatis, writings on Bhairava came from Kashmiri Shaiva masters. They were Bhairava Upasakas. Okay, fantastic caliber Bhairava Upasakas, a lot of them. And so Bhairava is, one of them defines it very beautifully. When you are scared of the world, when you are scared of Maya, okay, because the world has a Maya, and you yourself have a Maya. Maya is your attachment. Okay. Anything that you have attached yourself to is going to cause you some pain. That's the dictum of the world. And not just for you. That happened to the great masters. That happens to you, me. That will happen to people later on also. Whatever you have attached yourself to, that has generated a Maya.
The one you love.
Anything. Even your phone. There's a specific beautiful story that is coming to mind, but I'll just hold it after I complete this section of the. So, eventually, they used to say that when you are tired of Maya, tired of this cycle of, summer and winter and rains and all this, abhi acha hai, next time again there is a sadness, same, again there is happiness, again there is sadness, these seasons are going on, you're scared of Maya. And when you're scared of Maya, there is a shout from within. There's a visceral, guttural cry for help that comes out from the sadhak, from the upasaka, from the mumukshu. Mumukshu means one who is eager for spiritual progress, but he doesn't know anything. So there's from within there is this cry that comes out. That is when Bhairava responds. He says that I'll take you to a state where these mayas will go away. I'll show you the reality as it is.
Very fast.
That depends. Fast or slow will depend on the person's purva samskara.
Okay.
If you have done something with Bhairav Baba in past lives, very fast he will come. Before I forget, I'll tell you that story.
Sure.
It's very interesting. There was this great yogi. A lot of people know of him. You might have heard him. One of the Nath yogis, Gorakshanath. Baba Gorakshanath. He was like an immortal yogi. He's an amsa of Shiva, they say. Okay. He was like a part of... deities can send their amsas something. Amsa means a portion of the energy into the human form. Okay. And those people become great saints or great yogis and guide a lot of people like that, etc. So once Gorakshanath, he was going long back, many centuries ago, he was going to the city of Ujjain. Okay. Avantika. And the king of that place, he was a great scholar and things like that. He had written fantastic texts, and he had a lot of, as it used to happen with kings, he had a lot of women and many wives and things like that. Okay, so I'm telling you the overall rough story a little bit so that the gist of the idea comes across. So one of his favorite queens dies. Okay, some incidents happen and queen dies. And he's terribly sad. Terribly sad means he's like, ho gaya, mera life is done. There's nothing else to do. I mean, this is the only woman I loved, and she was the love of my life, and etc. like this. So Gorakshanath sees this. Gorakshanath has a kamandulu. Kamandulu, you know, this yogis carry water, they will carry in that for achman and various other purposes. So it's made of. So he takes the kamandulu and he breaks it in the ground. Okay, and then he starts crying, exactly like the king. Ki, mera ye toot gaya, it's gone. It's like, oh my God, this is the thing I wanted. And the king got very pissed off. And he said that, what are you doing? You think that, that thing you're trying to mimic me and mock me and all that. He said, no, I actually, that's the only thing possession I have, and I love it so deeply. He said that, and then the king gets even more pissed off. He said, I am crying because my wife is gone. Okay, it's a human being and you are mocking me because of this kamandul. So Gorakshanath then tells him that, are you sure you really loved your wife that deeply? But I also loved you may have loved your wife, but I loved my kamandulu. For me, this is the most important thing in life. So by now the king is like really pissed. And kings, when they get very angry, they can kill you also. Can say, kill this person, something like that. They can be whimsical. So, but Goraksha tells him that, okay, if you really loved your wife, I'll put you to a test. So Goraksha had many occult abilities. Okay. So what he does is that he creates 25 women looking exactly like his wife and tells him that, find out which is your wife. If you can tell me this is my wife of these 25 women, he had the ability to create these things. He was an immortal yogi. He was not an ordinary person. He was among the 9 Nath yogis who are immortal sort of. Okay. And the king is like stunned. 25 women exactly same looking, talking, same mannerism of speaking, sitting, talking, etc. And he is like clueless. What is happening? And then suddenly in his mind there is this brainwave like epiphany that happens. Okay, and he falls at the feet of Goraksha. And he says that, you teach me what is the reality of the world. Okay. And then Goraksha gives him sannyas diksha and he leaves his kingdom and he becomes a Nath yogi himself. And then he writes beautiful compositions on Vairagya. He becomes a great Nath yogi. Vairagya is detachment. You detach yourself from the material world, you will get bliss of the spiritual world. But almost no one can have both of these together. If you are in the material, you will pass through pleasure and pain, now this, now that, etc. But this story I find very interesting and I find very beautiful because it demonstrates actually for us that you create, by your existence, you create a maya around you through your attachment. And that is normal for all people. But also, your true spiritual growth will start when from deep within you feel that nahi bahut ho gaya hai. There's a cry that will come out. In his case, it happened because because of the power of the yogi. From our case, others also for that matter, when there is a deep down, there is not resentment, but more like you are tired of the world. बहुत हो गया, सब देख लिया, everything. See, the same theme you will find in the first chapter of the Gita is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Vishad means he's in a state of depression. He's confused that these are my relatives. अभी तक तो there was full jingoism of what करना है सब कुछ है. At the moment he's confused. These are my relatives. Okay, he doesn't know. So it creates a dilemma in the mind. You are tired. You don't know what the hell it is. And then you look for somebody who is more intelligent and wiser and more capable. Ki, boss, tell me what it is. And then there is the whole Gita that flows. Okay. And after that he tells him, no, you have to still fight because this is destined. This is dharma. You cannot escape from dharma. But you fight with a degree of detachment. This is the crux of all spiritual practices at the end of the day. Even if you read Yoga Vashishta, which is one of the most beautiful texts it starts off this way, that Lord Rama is having conversation with Rishi Vashishta, and Vashishta is explaining. Vashishta is his Kula Guru. But Rama starts off this way, that I have seen all the women, I've seen all the wealth, I've seen everything. I have no attachment to what is. I'm tired of all this. What is there? What is beyond this? And then he goes into a deep conversation and discussion on the spiritual aspects, sab kuch, everything is there. At one point, when the soul becomes tired of Maya, then this, as I was mentioning, this cry comes out. And it may not be a loud thing. It's not something that's audible also. Something that, there is this desire from within. What? I've seen all this. Is it all that there is to the universe? Is there something beyond this? And that is when Bhairava responds. He says that, okay, I'll show you what is beyond this. But to go to class 10, you have to leave class 9. You cannot keep attending the class 9 and class 10 and still go to class 10.
I saw the video you did about Kaal Bhairav Upasana, and you said that one of the tests for your Upasana being successful, your prayers to Kaal Bhairav being successful, is that dogs will be drawn to you.
Yeah. So dogs are very interesting creatures. Dogs have an instinct for loyalty. Other animals also have it, but dogs have it more than others. Okay. And see, Bhairava Vahana is considered as a dog. Okay. Dogs are basically, if I remember, I had read somewhere long back, I think wolves or whatever, they domesticated and became dogs. Okay. From the time when dogs started living with humans, perhaps there is no other creature that has lived with humans longer than dogs. Okay. Consider that is when Bhairava decides that I am going to help this species. Okay. And the other thing is that a dog is a guardian, sort of. If you have a dog at home, if there is anybody who's disturbing anything like that, he will figure out, etc. One of Bhairava's typical instincts for an individual is that apart from the core tattva, which is that he makes you fearless, he also guards you very fantastically. He guards you from, even if Bhairava's blessing is with an individual, if you are supposed to go down into some negative pitfall, etc., he is the one who can pull you out of it. And that's what I tell people, that Bhairava is the only deity who can pull you out of a nightclub and make you sit into a meditation room. Baki log to jayega hi nahi uske andar. It's already too corrupted place. They will not go. He will go there. If he likes, he will pick you up from there. Even if you cry and do whatever, baitha dega tumhe meditation mein. He is the one who can do that. Okay, and I've seen that happening with people. So, like dogs can guard, Bhairava guards his upasakas very strongly. Very strongly. Only thing is that you cannot lie to him. He is a god of truth. He hates lies.
When you're saying you can't lie to him, I understand one, you're talking about the tantric rituals where if you've made promises, you got to follow them.
No, not that.
Oh.
I'm saying something more fundamental, which means that when you are worshipping Bhairava, make it a point to sit calmly and tell him everything. And tell him everything means even your flaws. मैंने नहीं ये कर पाया. I tried this. If you're honest, he will help you. If you're dishonest, he detects dishonesty in 1 second. You don't have to tell the world, but you have to tell him clearly and without pretense. And that is very important. Without pretense. He doesn't like pretense. So if you can, to the world, you can pretend to be, and that is the one thing which most people don't do. To the world, they pretend that I've seen that they are great devotees of bhaktas. Bhakta is devotee, great devotees of this god. Itna मैं भजन कर रहा हूँ, ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ, photo डाल के सब कुछ चल रहा है. And when they come in front of the deity, they pretend that they are great sadhaks. ठीक है, sadhak means one who is doing lot of practices and yoga कर रहा है, ये कर रहा है. Equation should be completely different. To the world, you become a sadhak. To the world, you do a sadhak. When you are sitting in front of your devata, you are just a devotee. And like a devotee, you speak to him. Not just ask, you tell him that this is what is going on. I'm not able to deal with it. I don't know what to do. These are my flaws. These are my weaknesses. I'm incapable beyond this. Help me out. Tell him, speak. And then one day the response will also start coming. Honesty is very important in Bhairava Upasana. And I personally, in this context, I have guided a lot of people into basic Bhairava sadhana in my life. Not complicated, basic ones.
Including me. But go on.
This is a lot of Bhairava sadhana. I believe that in the coming years and decades, it's very good to do Bhairava Upasana. A lot of the problems that we face as a country as a civilization is also due to the neglect of Bhairava at a certain level. See, Bhairava is the guardian of spaces. He is known as Kshetrapala. One of his names is. Kshetra means an area. He guards that area. Exactly like a dog is going to guard you if you have a friendship with a dog. Our country is a divine Kshetra. Whole country. So what have we actually seen? We have seen a partition, a very bloody partition of our land. What used to be at one point, part of it is gone, etc. So basically your borders have been rearranged. The Kshetra has been disturbed. A Kshetra can be disturbed when the Lord who guards the Kshetra has not been invoked properly.
Not been pleased?
Not been invoked and pleased, and whatever way you look at it. So that's my way of looking at it. And even today, all the borders have problems, whether it's the Punjab side border or Kashmir or whatever, etc., have problems, etc. And this lack of Bhairava Upasana, by the way, started not just now, many centuries ago when there are various invasions happened and knowledge systems were lost. So today the conception of Bhairava for average people is that, oh, koi gaon ka kuch devata hai, ye hai, wo hai, etc., some dark energy. Nothing of that sort. He is the most spiritual one. If you allow Baba to rule your life, he's going to make you completely spiritual. Okay, and he will make you fearless and he will take you beyond your own deficiencies and things like that. And I've seen he responds very fast, by the way. Coming to the speed talking, there are for the sake of completeness of Bhairav Tattva. So it's believed that there are Rudrayamal Tantra mentions that there are 64 Bhairavas. Okay. And of these 64, 8 of them are very important. Ashta Bhairava.
You want to just name them?
Yeah. Asitanga Bhairava, Rudu Bhairava, Chanda Bhairava, Krodha Bhairava, Unmatta Bhairava, Kapala Bhairava, Bhishana Bhairava, Samhara Bhairava.
No Kaal Bhairav, Batuk Bhairav?
इसके भी ऊपर realm. ठीक है. So as I said, we are never one. With one there are many always. They are all Bhairavas. But each Bhairava himself divides himself into so many to do various functions. Okay. And these Ashta Bhairavas have their own domains. By the way, Kashi has Ashta Bhairava temples. I think Almora has Ashta Bhairava. I had been to the Ashta Bhairava temple last month in Almora. Visited there for certain sadhanas. Beyond the 8 Bhairavas, they are also guardians of certain directions and certain particular kinds of things. Okay. So, for example, Asitanga Bhairava, if somebody gets the blessing of that, he will have exceptional knowledge. Multiple fields. Exceptional knowledge. He'll stand out. His knowledge will stand out. Then there is, so Samhara Bhairava, for example, if there is a problem with respect to spirits or something negative, then he can be invoked. He will relieve that problem, etc. So beyond Ashta Bhairava, there is Kaal Bhairav.
Above.
Kaal Bhairav is basically, we find the story of Kaal Bhairav from the Shiva Purana. How does he emerge? First, through Shiva's anger. So there is, the story is there that Brahmaji and Vishnu, they are having a conversation, and this story appears in multiple Puranas with slight changes. More or less the gist of it is that they are having a conversation who is greater. Okay, then Shiva appears and Brahma says that, oh, you are to my you are younger than me and all that, because Brahma is the creator of everything, etc. That means automatically I am more powerful, and some disparaging statements he makes on Shiva. Shiva gets angry, and from his anger Kaal Bhairava comes out. Kaal Bhairava uses the nail, I think, left hand little finger nail, and he cuts off Brahma's one head. Okay. Moment he does that, Brahma comes back to his senses. He says, no, you are Ishvara. Mera aukat nahi hai. And that head of Brahma sticks in his hand. Achha, very interestingly, when the section of Kaal Bhairava comes in actually, the Shiva Purana says that there is no difference between Shiva and Bhairava. It is the Maya of Shiva that makes you see that these two are different. So Bhairava is not a Shiva Gana. He is Shiva only. Only different look, for practical purposes, you may look at it this way, that Shiva is the calm one. When he becomes Aghora, when he becomes Rudra, when he becomes more aggressive, then he becomes Bhairava.
Which for an average human being would mean like a more hustler version.
Sort of.
Like a more active.
More active, And also there is a difference, another difference, which is not there in the Shastra. No, it's there. I mean, it's not spelled out in that way. Another thing is that Bhairava is more closer to our realm. Shiva is more transcendental. Okay. He is closer. That is why when you call Bhairava, he will respond faster. If certain parameters are set in an individual. Okay. So that judgment has to be made by either a mentor or a guru or something, basically. He will come much faster. Achha. Then what Bhairava does is that skull of Brahma sticks to his hand. So that is the first instance of Brahma Hatya. Brahma Hatya means killing of a Brahmin, which is considered to be a great sin. Okay, a genuine Brahmin in olden days, they used to do a lot of sadhana. It's like killing a sadhak who is doing a lot of spiritual practice. If you kill a spiritual man, genuinely spiritual man, there is a huge amount of negative karma that is going to come. That is what is Brahma Hatya. When you are in those days specifically, when people of the Brahmin Varna were deeply engaged in practices and all those things. So
nothing related to the modern day caste system. That
let's not go into the controversial area there, but just to explain this, basically he kills Brahma, and that is Brahma is himself a Brahmin, by the way. Okay? He gives the Vedas. So that is known as Brahma Hatya. Killing of a Brahmin is a very great sin. And that skull sticks to his hand. Okay. Very interestingly, the text calls it the Brahmanda Khappar. So what is it actually? Brahma is the creator of the universe. And here is a god who has cut off the head of the creator and holds it in his hand. Okay. Brahma Kapala. It's like as if he is holding the skull of the universe in his hand. And in that condition, immediately there is a woman that gets generated. That is Brahma Hatya. Brahma Hatya is the activity of killing a Brahmin. And that too not just any Brahmin. Brahma, who is like who gives out the Vedas and things like that. That sin takes a human form and becomes a woman, known as Brahma Hatya. And he stands behind Kaal Bhairava. Okay. Shiva then tells Kaal Bhairava that you do one thing. You demonstrate to the world that if a spiritual man a Brahmin is killed, okay, how do I do penance for that? Okay. So he goes with that skull in hand. He performs what is called the Mahavrata. Vrata means like we do Vrata, Hanumanji ka Vrat kar liya, ya kisi ka Vrat kar liya, etc. Navratri ka Vrat kar liya. This is a Vrata, means a spiritual austerity. So Bhairava, with that skull in hand, he roams around different realms. He goes to the realm of Vishnu. Vishnu immediately recognizes, tells him that this is a play that you are doing. It's a Leela. Because you are Shiva. You know it very well. Okay? You are doing this to demonstrate certain things to the world. And then that woman is behind him. That Brahmatya keeps walking behind him. That lady who is the sin. And that Brahmatya, Vishnu asks Brahmatya, why are you coming behind? And she says that this is my way of worshipping Shiva. Okay, I'm just following what he has instructed me to do. Finally, he keeps walking. He comes to Varanasi. In Varanasi, at a particular place, that skull falls from his hand. And he settles down there, Kashi. Okay, and that place is known as Kapal Mochan, where the skull falls down, etc. And Shiva says that anybody who is in Varanasi is like the permanent residence of Kaal Bhairava. Okay, he stays there, and he stays in other places also, but Varanasi is got a special connection to Baba. Okay, so in the imitation of this, there is a Kapalika Vrata that used to happen. Even these days it's less, but used to happen. So there's a Kapalika initiation in Aghora, Tantra Marg, etc., where the Guru will give a skull to that individual, and like Bhairava, he has to stay for 12 years roaming around, not staying in a house, not staying anywhere. That only possession is that skull, that human skull. He goes around and he eats in that, he begs in that, and he doesn't stay in society. So at night you have to basically stay, whether it's a cremation ground or a forest or a lonely area. Okay, and you will survive this only if you have the blessings of Bhairava. After the 12 years you are made. You are divine. So this was called the Mahavrata. This is Kaal Bhairava. Kaal Bhairava, we see the first thing that we see in Kaal Bhairava is that, see, if you analyze this, if you contemplate on this story, you will find that he starts with cutting Brahma's head. So there is the mainstream of sadhana, spirituality, okay, that is going on constantly. Here is a deity who is completely heterodox, not orthodox, opposite of orthodox. He cuts off that main the one who gives the Vedas, cuts off one of his head, and then he does something that is considered as defiling. Because Kaal, if you normal spirituality, if you go to a cremation ground, you should take a bath and all that, there's a good reason for it. All that. Here is Baba who sits in the cremation ground, surrounded by everything that has been rejected by society, whether it is dogs, wolves, jackals, spirits. He's known as Bhutesha, Bhutnatha, Lord of the Spirits. Okay. He consumes alcohol, something that is completely barred in normal upasana, etc. So Bhairava is like that. Shiva only, just a different form. Okay. And when speaking of Bhairava, there's another very important aspect that comes in, that's the Vatuka Bhairava. Without him, it's not complete. Vatuka Bhairava is worshipped more than Kala Bhairava. Kala Bhairava worship completely cannot be done at home. Vatuka, certain scriptures mention, Vatuka means a small child.
Like a Bal Shiva.
Yeah, 8-9-year-old child. So what Shakti does is that Vatuka is like a son of Kali. It's like a son of Matara. Okay, like a son of Chindamasta. So there is this, a child form is created who is given all kinds of powers in him. Okay. And he is tasked with the job of protecting the Upasaka from every kind of trouble in the world, whether it is physical trouble, whether it is some kind of spirit, whether it's some other thing, etc., etc. Instead of trying to placate 100 different things, you just worship Vatuka and he will take care of you. And of the Bhairava, different forms of Bhairava Baba, Vatuka is the fastest of all. He responds very fast. With one catch, he's a child. Remember that. So you need some emotional connection.
Love.
Some degree of love, some degree of communication has to be there. If you ask, to give a simple example, if you have whatever, some obstacle, something is going on. So you worship Vatuka and you say that, Baba, can you help me out in this? Be very open. You are free to ask anything of the gods. Okay. So you ask him and he helps you out, suppose. Make sure that the next day at least you sit and tell him thank you.
If you say his mantra once, is that a good enough thank you? And if you feel a thank you and say a thank you?
It's up to you what you want to do, what comes from within. It's not for me to tell.
Okay.
I do Vishesh pujas on specific tithis for him, and if needed, if there is some help that comes from him and I have asked for help, minimum to minimum next day morning I'll do 10 times his mantra. Okay, and just tell him that thank you very much that for helping me. Some days if I feel like it, I order specific foods that he like. Lot of them. Just like inviting a guest to the house. 3-4 different dishes and all that, and it's all for yours.
Okay. Low level conversation.
Yeah.
Why did you ask me to do the Batuk Bhairav?
Oh, that is because that will be useful for you. In coming times, you'll see. And also, generally, if I advise people into Bhairava sadhana, there is a certain Nama mantra of Bhairava, very simple. Om Bhairavaya Nama, which just about anybody can do. I've in fact made certain videos of it also in my YouTube channel. So that is the starting point of Bhairava. And Vatuka Bhairava is easy to worship for a Grihastha. Grihastha means somebody who is staying in society, a normal person. Okay. Though the full realm of Bhairava Upasana cannot be done at home, but even if you succeed to 30 to 40%, that is good enough to make you spiritually powerful, as well as take care of your various material aspects. And this thing with Bhairava is if you develop trust on him, you will see that if in your life there's certain changes, both positive and negative, if something happens, then it is perhaps because at a later stage, a bigger problem was supposed to come. He is going to right away do the operation and, take you out of that.
The breakup.
I'm just saying.
Like I did it and the breakup happened in 2 weeks. Like it was great relationship, just flipped.
I'll not comment much on that, but yeah, Baba
Thanks,
protects you.
No, I'm kidding. I can't tell you how grateful I am to you because I'm seeing what's happening in my life post the breakup also.
He's wonderful. In last 20-30 years in India, 2 deity upasana has increased tremendously. One is Batuk Bhairava and one is Ma Baglamukhi. That's for another reason, different reason.
Okay.